There is fire on the mountain, and nobody seems to be on the run. Oh, there is fire on the mountain top, and no one is running. I wake up in the morning, tell you what I see on my TV screen. I see the blood of an innocent child, and everybody's watching. Now I'm looking out my window, and what do I see? I see an army of a soldier man marching across the street. Hey. What did it say to make you so blind to your conscience and reason? Could it be love for your country, or for the gun you use in killing? So there is fire on the mountain, and nobody seems to be on the run. Oh, there is fire on the mountain top, and no one is running. Hey, Mr. Loverman, can I get a chance to talk to you? 'Cause you are fooling with a dead man's corpse, and you don't know what you do. Oh, so little Lucy turned 16, and like the movie she's been seeing, she has a lover in her daddy. She can't tell nobody till she makes the
Yes, the industry has been faced with a lot of challenges, and you can testify to it that the association, which is responsible for the travel agencies in Nigeria, has been very supportive in ensuring that the government listen to some of the challenges that the industry is faced with, especially our principal, which are the airlines. And it is never in our intention that we want our principals to leave the market. But as of today, we've had better part of your funds repatriated, which has given a bit of confidence back into the market that you can still do business and do business here forever. In this room we have the airlines, the association, key players in the travel business. Even though some of them are not here, they're still going to join us. And that's why you will see that it is NANTA/Industry Working Group. We had to create this group out of necessity when we found out that most of the pain and budget we're going through, they are becoming unbearable. And we will not all just keep to ourselves, but to try and work together to solve the challenges that we have in our industry. It is not a pathetic situation. Rather, it's a situation that we all can resolve. The government will listen to us if we work together as one. Let me use this opportunity to announce before I forget that NANTA's AGM will be coming up next year in March, and we'll be hoping that you will all rally around us to support us. It's going to be in the city of Port Harcourt. So it's an opportunity for some of the airlines that have not visited Port Harcourt to visit it. Okay? So we're going to start by introducing ourselves. But at this point that we're going to start to introduce ourselves, we have two journalists amongst us. So they're going to excuse us so that we'll be able to have a fruitful discussion, because I know that the airlines always get jittery once they find out that we have journalists amongst us. But what we want to discuss is something that is very important to all of us. So they will excuse us at the point where we're going to start having our key discussion, and join us later and we'll round up. I hope we're okay with that. Hello? Are we okay with that?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll start by introducing ourselves so that we all can feel free to have a meaningful discussion here. Okay? Maybe we'll start from this table.
Samuel Linfield, Virgin Atlantic.
Ohise Kimiani, South African Airways.
Vinod Gorani, Mayfair Travel.
Afzal Parambil from Everest.
George Mowatri, Etihad Airways.
I know Emmanuel, Air France KLM.
Good morning, Ikwabas Japan, Air France KLM. Wale, the Travelers Hub. Harry Chidi Ibuyo, Travel Plans. Tinuke Waku, Aviator Travels. Bumi Arabo, Sprint Travels. Bola Makadiro, Airport Travels.
Emeka Oseke, Rewards Travels.
Contributions. Why is credit card as a form of payment not yet implemented by our principals in this market?
Being in the industry and the rest of the world is moving towards multiple form of payment, it's important that even Nigeria go in the same direction, and it's a matter of time. But from an airline perspective, I can't talk, but from our perspective, we already initiated the process. But it's also to do with the delays was multiple. You know, the market condition was very different, our priorities were different. But having said that, number of agencies have already approached us as an airline, and we have taken measures where we are trying to implement it probably in a couple of months' time. And the testing phase will start hopefully from 1st of November, which we have already initiated with a number of agencies and MATs. So the delay, I would say, from my perspective, it was combined. GDS was one of the issues where they were supposed to be ready from once we got the approval from IATA. Now they are ready. Now from us to internally agree our process and procedures, and then we'll implement it.
Thank you for your contribution.
Well, I have a question. The first question is, if I was running my own agency, I would want to ask myself the question, why do I actually want to settle on VSP with credit card? Please understand that we understand your business model. We know that sometimes customers are owing you, but if we push that aside, why do I need to pay with a credit card for funds that I've collected from the customers? One.
Right? So the agent's transaction is the payment method we use to pay our principal, which is the credit card payment. How the customers pay us is not the airline's business. Yeah? So I just want to clarify that. On the credit card issue, that is currently being tested. And so I don't think this meeting is about the commercial terms, is what we should be discussing here in this meeting. Because there are commercial terms that come with those credit cards, and that should be also involved, actually I think should be involved with IATA being present. And that should be taken on an IATA basis, not negotiated here. So I think I just want to clarify, just to make sure that we are focused on the right discussion, and we're not having commercial discussions here. The most important thing is the technical capability to implement credit card as a form of payment for the agencies. This is not about the customers. I think I just want to clarify that. I just want to make sure that we're on the same page. I think we all agree on that. Thank you.
Thank you.
We've been asked to top up. It has now become very rampant that it is something that happens every year now that we have to top up. And the only reason we're being asked to top up is because we've exceeded the trading limit. And IATA has made us to understand that with the credit card being introduced into our market, the need to provide extra security will not be necessary because the airline gets settlement easily with the credit card. Instantly with the credit card. And from every indication, let's look at it this way. If I have to provide IATA with a financial security of 1 billion naira, be it DIP or be it bank guarantee as our market requires, it means that if credit card is being introduced, my financial security can drop as low as 400 million rather than 1 billion naira. So it means that unnecessary collateral and being tied down with the bank will be used for the business and settlement becomes very easy. I don't know if we understand what we're saying.
No.
You don't?
Yes. Yes. Why? Because I don't understand how credit card will now be used as a form of guarantee, as a security.
No. Let me explain it to you. This is it. I settle you every 2 weeks. That's it. But with the credit card, the payment becomes instant. So because it becomes instant, my financial security will drop. That's how it's done in other markets. So when it drops, it's not going to affect your payment in any way.
Sorry, Mr. The card
will be used to do bi-weekly payment. And because your bi-weekly payment is going on, you still have your guarantee. That is between you and IATA to be able to operate on the PSP platform. Now, what he then clarified further was that there will be what is called RHC. There's now going to be a method of calculating your trading frequency, in which case they will know an average trading method volume per week or per day. That will then be able to come up with a figure that determines how you're doing. If your sales is now overwhelmingly high that they think it will surpass your guarantee, they start pulling money from your credit card weekly. It doesn't become 2 weeks anymore. So you stay within the limits of your guarantee. You remember we then said that is some sort of stylish capping. You remember we mentioned that? And they said it is what is called capping, no capping. Anyway, bottom line is that your guarantee will still be there. Your credit card is only used to do your payment one bulk. Please. And if your credit limit is okay, your money will go through. Next, Mr. Sonia said, the airlines are concerned about the trust element of holding their money in abeyance for 2 weeks, thereabouts, and that has led us to fast track this discussion of let's talk about credit cards also as a form of payment so that we can reduce the discussion about cash in the first place. But I think we will wait for
the objective of the credit card as a form of payment is to eliminate the need for a bank guarantee.
Yes. Increment.
Understand what I'm saying? Now, wait. Understand what I'm saying? Maybe when something comes here, you can. If an agency decides that I no longer want to provide bank guarantee as a form of payment, as a form of security, they can opt in to use the credit card payment to settle the transactions that they do on a daily basis instantly to the airline.
Not daily basis, transactional basis.
No.
Per transaction.
Per transaction basis. You're right. Transaction basis. So as soon as the customer makes the payment, so let me tell you how it works. The agency has a credit card on the system, on the GDS. Customer makes the payment, and instantly the card on the system, the agency's card, is charged to pay the airline. Instantly.
So you don't need BSP.
So you don't need BSP.
No.
You don't need to hold the money for 2 weeks. And we have to even clarify that people know.
Okay. My understanding for further to our discussion,
Yes.
there will be the merchant, which is your travel agency, transact the credit card for a ticket. The money gets credited to my account instantly.
Yes.
And that money, on a fortnightly basis, when you send a BSP report, there will be 2 columns. One is total BSP sale minus credit card sale. So you only limit the minus amount from credit card because the credit card money is already with us.
Yes.
That will reduce your requirement for your bank account.
Thank you. That's what I want to explain to them. We're having this discussion today because of the issue of financial security.
I understand it.
Yes.
Mr. Fatokun did a breakdown, which is the RCH will do a calculation.
That is a different discussion. Also trying to provide an option to agencies in terms of financial security. We are talking about payments now.
To be honest, if I really want to be honest with you, I don't know if any other airlines are not fretting about this at all. Because guess what? The umpire will still take care of the necessary issue, which is IATA. IATA will take care and remit to airline. IATA is the umpire. And IATA will make sure the agent complies with the rule that is necessary.
Yes.
So the airlines are not fretting, I don't think.
Yeah. So what also one more point. What we're saying here is that the issue of bank guarantee, in order for as agencies continue to grow in Nigeria, the issue of security has become a major problem. So the credit card provides an alternative to eliminating the issue of holding money for 2 weeks or 1 month. And that is what we're, and so there are commercial, and you guys, we all know what has happened in terms of airline funds in Nigeria over the last year and a half. So those are the benefit that this also happens, so you get your money instantly. And
something that agents should be asking though, which you guys have not asked at all, is in what currency are they going to be pulling your money?
Your money can be settled in US dollars.
That can be.
Will be.
You should clarify this.
With your bank, if the bank that does the transaction will be settled in US dollars. So that problem is also solved.
I think the issue we have here, we should not lose track of what we are actually discussing here. The issue we have here, we have 5 parties involved in this issue. And the 5 parties are the agents, the airlines, the bank, IATA, and the insurance company. Now, IATA being the umpire. You see, if we take 10 agents now, if you look at their turnover and their bank guarantee, if anything happens to any of them, will crash even a bank. Not to talk about the insurance company, whose turnover is not even up to that of the agent. Because most of the time you go and get a bank guarantee, you get an insurance bond. So these procedures are too cumbersome. So what we are saying here, what I want to, in my own opinion, if this is not offside, in my own opinion is that we should look at if agency A provides a bank guarantee of 1 billion, for instance, 1 billion is more than enough a guarantee for any business, especially in Nigeria, or more, depending on what you're doing. So if you have a bank guarantee of 1 billion naira, now, instead of next year, the WACS to provide a bank guarantee of 1.5 billion, why don't IATA introduce this capping? And once you are trading above your 1 billion, you are made to pay instantly. That is not airline business. It's between the agent and the airlines. And IATA. So the moment you trade up to that threshold of your bank guarantee, they ask you to provide the money immediately. IATA will write to you, and you make the payment through this credit card that we are talking about. Instead of thinking of how am I going to increase increase my bank guarantee next year. You will not even be thinking about that, but you'll be able to focus on the business. Because knowing fully well that the moment you trade up to ₦1 billion, you'll be made to pay instantly whatever amount that is on top of that transaction. And the remaining amount will go through at the payment day and payment time. So what I am looking at here is that we should engage IATA on that, because the credit card thing is a good development that would either allow the agent to trade permanently on the bank guarantee that you have now. If you want to increase your bank guarantee, then the option is there for you to increase, or you sign up the credit card, you continue to use the credit card to pay to IATA once you trade above what you the bank guarantee that you have. That is my own thinking, and I think we should look at that direction. It's going to work. It's not airline business. Their own business is they get their money as at when due. Thank you.
I started, Mr. Chairman, when you started this conversation or this session, you made a statement. You said IATA had approved credit card as a form of payment in this market over 1 year ago. So within the context of that statement, what is the objective of this discussion? I would have loved for us to focus that discussion on setting up implementation. Because we started by asking, what does the airline think about it? Is there any sort of pushback? But you said IATA had made that decision that this is a form of payment acceptable. Why don't we focus on, this is what the blueprint of that implementation will look like. Why don't we focus on having maybe a small working group that will say this is a checklist of what and how this will happen, and then roll that out in a more substantive way. Because if we can spend the next 5 hours just having a UN session, what do you think about it and all that stuff, and we will not accomplish much. Just like the BSP of today, at some point went through a process and it was rolled out, whether we like it or not, we're operating it. What I would like for us to do is put a timeline into how credit card will be implemented in this market. Thank you.
A lot of other things that are not actually related but not essential to this line of discussion. Since Dr. Fatuku is here right now, I'll take one more contribution from George, and then so that Dr. Fatuku can put everything in perspective in answering the question. The substantive question, so your attention, sir. So the substantive question is, IATA has approved credit card for this market as a form of payment. Why has it not been implemented so far, and when will it be implemented? So those are the two substantive questions arising out of that reality.
Arriving late. Sorry about that. We have so many other engagements at the same time to attend to. I just go to have the discussion, but what I can say is that IATA has done all the necessary, taking all the necessary steps for having credit card as a mode of payment from the passenger into the system. Okay. Now, when the agent sells, the agent is expected to remit the fund, to hold a fund in trust for the airline remit at a particular time. Now, the credit card process that has been approved does not attend to that. So the agency has to pay by cash. But the passenger itself, or the organization, the corporate, can now pay straight to the GDSs into the BSP using their credit card. We have tested that. We have completed the test. The environment is ready. Now, so the ball now is in the court of the airline to implement. Now, the prerogative of accepting credit card or not is the airlines. What the IATA does is give you the environment. We make the environment conducive to be able to do that. Now, the airline also, the environment, the way it's set up is that the airline needs to have an acquirer, okay, for the credit cards. And so they have acquirers that are already ready, there are some that are not ready. So it depends on the airline now to say say, okay, from tomorrow we want to start accepting credit. They don't need any new process from our side. We are ready. The system is ready. Just use it whenever. It's just like you have a car, you have different car, you can use this for this. So the options are there. So it's left to the owner of the car to decide, I use this option, no, I don't use this option, and so on. So it's just something like that, similar to that. So revenue policy also to know if the real credit card has a mode of payment or not. IATA cannot force them to do only credit card or to do cash only. We just make everything available. So that's what that is.
Thank you very much. So if I understand, sorry,
from 2018, but from presently the one that is available in the system is the passenger paying for his ticket that can go through the whole system up to the BSP.
2018 when?
I don't understand that. There are two payments, okay? When the passenger comes to you, I want to buy a ticket, okay? Yes. I'm a passenger. Yes. Scenario one, I want to buy a ticket. Yes. I come to you. What you can do presently, if that says go to the BSP, you have to be cash payment. Until then, until some time. Now, the passenger can give his credit card, then debit the credit card to the system, and the payment goes straight to the airlines, to the BSP, but immediately to the airline.
To settle through your BSP account?
No, that payment goes straight. So exactly. So when you receive your sales report, your report or your letter, you receive credit card, you receive cash. So that is what is going now. Now the other one is that after all the sales have been made, and you have a remittance to make, okay, you have to pay for your remittance after 2 weeks, okay, of trade. So that amount, now you can only pay by cash. We do direct debit. Direct debit is cash. It's cash payment. Or you do EFT, you don't go and pay to that account. So that is. But starting from next year, the new general ISS will be able to, agents will be able to pay by credit card if the airline accepts that. So it will be left to each airline to decide if they want an agent to pay them by credit card or by cash.
Okay. Back to two tranches here, which I mentioned earlier. The first one is the passenger paying to the agent. So that is enabled. And that automatically increases your financial security, obviously. So the issue, the substantive issue to discuss is when will the airlines be amenable to having the agent settle with their own credit card for transactions at the end of the remittance period. I think that's the...
Sorry, let me just add the intersection. I think I need to throw more light in there because Kenya Airways actually participated with IATA at the pilot stage of this credit card. And that is why I just want to throw the light with my colleagues in there. Everything worked very well when the pilot stage, but the problem we may have to face as an airline will be the acquirer that we have said, because there are about 4 or 5 parties onto this one. So you have the airline in there, you have the IATA there, you have the bank in there. So you need to have an acquirer that's going to transact that business between your credit card there and the head office, and that's where we need to look at now. I'm sure some airlines are not looking at that. We probably won't have looked at that until we got to the pilot stage. So, Mr. Chairman, I think what you need to engage the airline with is how to get it acquired to make the credit card works. The second thing is at the default level. If you say a passenger will pay directly with the credit card, what happens in case of default? Assuming the credit card is declined, who takes charge? So we then need also to look at that and who is going to sign the guarantee to say if this happens, I can't go and hold the passenger because the passenger actually. So it's going to be agency that will be responsible for that. So you will not come back and say, I'm sorry, it's my passenger that did this, I didn't know, he does not have money in that account, I didn't know this, because a lot of things will happen like that. So those are the two main things that we need to do.
Can I take you to task? You represent an airline here. Sure. When is Kenya Airways going to appoint an acquirer? Going through this process that you just enumerated, why don't we now break it down to
exactly what I have said. I said we have gone through that process of an acquirer. I probably would have known that we need to go through that process if we are not part of the pilot stage, and that's what I'm saying now. So what you need to engage, is an airline, whether they have an acquirer in the country that can help them, do the transaction business, and the default, aspect of it. Once those are settled, I think the other one, they are very easy. Thank you. Only we need to talk with UBA, can assist.
So, I mean, this is not part of my own assignment, so I think I'll hand over to the president now to determine where we go with this line of conversation. I think we need to deepen the conversation so that we can truly get some measure of finalization on this matter. So, to me, what would come to my mind would be to break it down into a working group comprising the airlines as major stakeholders in this discussion, and with inputs from industry stakeholders too, from on the agent side. So that would be my suggestion, but I think I will leave it to the president to determine the way forward. Thank you very much for your engagement.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chu. A round of applause for you for helping us out on that. In a very short minute, let me correct the misinformation I gave earlier on. As we engage ourselves, this thing becomes a lot clearer. Now, I remember saying that the credit card, which is a form of payment, that it will help to reduce our financial security, which is after 2 weeks. That's not going to happen. Mr. Patokun just said something that clicked in my brain and Obina whispered to me, which is that if we bring in credit card payment, using it to settle the airline, it means that the airlines are getting their money almost instantly. And if they are getting their money instantly, then there's no need for me giving IATA bank guarantee that will tie down my security. So the best option that will work for us is to opt for the instant payment of credit cards, and we can now go and sort it out with our banks. I think that will work for us. However, we will still take this back to our industry working group and deliberate very well on it, and start to engage the airlines one after the other for us to be able to make something meaningful out of it. Are we all clear on that now? Because I think that's the way to go. If we introduce this credit card thing, it will reduce the financial burden on us. Trust me. Trust me, it will reduce the financial burden, because I know why we're saying this. If we don't do this, we will all continue to suffer, and it might lead to collapse of our BSP system in Nigeria. This is one burden that is killing all of us. It's killing the airlines, it's killing the travel agencies, and I, as the president of the association, I think I'm tired of running around from one airline to the other, asking them why they are charging our members unnecessarily for GDS wastage. If you check GDS wastage, you will see that the amount is alarming. Now, how do we come about this GDS wastage? The airline sits in their offices and they will just pass it to us that, yes, you need to pay for this GDS wastage, forgetting that somebody has already come to us and say engage in this wasting. That's what happens. The GDSs will come to our offices and say book, because they want to reward us on segments. Now, you reward us on segments, and we're paying back because our principals will come back to us and collect the money back. So who is losing out? We are losing out, and the airlines are losing out. So we want to appeal, and we want to agree at the same time that the GDS should restrict the access to only IATA agencies. Now, it does not mean that it's going to put the non-IATA out of business, but they can always sign under IATA agents, because as of today, we have 36 IATA agencies. They can sign in using their platform to trade, and will be able to trace who is wasting the segment and who is not. Because if we do not do this, everybody will continue to suffer in silence. This is another critical thing that we all need to address. If we address it, we'll be able to trace it. I'll give you an instance. There are loads and loads of travel agencies. I'll call them travel agencies, or maybe I should, for the benefit of this argument, I'll just call them human beings or individuals. That once they have access to the laptop, they have access to booking. And having access to booking is not just booking, but to the inventories of our principals. After they have done all that, the GDS will go to the principal and say, these are the segments you need to pay for. The principal getting upset that these, my so-called travel agencies, are wasting, is being pushed back to us, and we're losing this money. So I want us to discuss about this. It is worrisome. I still got a call from NCA yesterday, and it is an issue that is of great concern to them as well, that this thing must not continue this way. So I want us to talk about it. I want to know what does our principals, what do they feel about this particular issue of restricting access to non-IATA agents. So the floor is open for discussion on this particular thing. I think before I take other people, I think I will want the airlines to talk more about this, because it has to do with their inventories. And if it has to do with their inventory, I think they need to speak about it. Now, the only reason you are talking to us about GDS wastage is because somebody has billed you. What about you telling the GDS that for any booking that is coming from non-IATA agents, I'm not going to attend to it? Can we have something like that, Mr. Kola? What do you have to say about this? Oh, I know he's eating. George.
Thank you. What I'll say about this actually is the choice, we've got the mandate in our hands to accept and non-IATA agents to have access to tickets for any airline. And the moment an airline does that, then they are willing to take the risk of going through these excessive bookings or churns that are going to happen. Now, the other thing as well, which was brought up, is even if we had the GDSs here, that's how they make money. You see, and from their point of view, they will see it as us restricting them from making their what would spread on their table. And that's why they're here on the business. So the choice really here is with the agent. Because you are being incentivized to book more, you had better look at the cost of doing that compared to when you are ADM or when you get the ADM for the chance as well. So there is a cost there. If he comes over to you and tells you, I'm incentivizing you for booking as many bookings, look at also the cost of when you get when you're being charged by the airline for the bookings that have been done and have not been cancelled for the excessive booking. So really, I'll tell you, we can go around this whole thing for a very long time. It has been discussed many times, even before we sat here. It has always been a problem in many other countries and many other industries. The choice is in our hands, and it's up to us as either responsible agents to try and make sure that we do not get this chance, or we take the cost that is going to be given to us. The other thing as well is some of IATA agents have got sub-agents who they have given access. And when these sub-agents start ticketing, you end up getting the cost of that. And when you get the cost of that, don't come back running to the airline saying that you want it to be waived.
Other countries are non-IATA agents allowed to have access to the GDS. I think it will be better answered that way.
The choice is of the airline, actually.
No, it's not about, we're not talking about either choice or no choice. No, it's a straightforward question.
Okay.
Do non-IATA agents have access to the GDS?
They do have access to the GDS.
When I mean access, I'm talking about direct access, which means that bank holiday travels can just wake up today and just have access to the inventory.
My contribution is on a different level. We have to be very careful, and I'm happy Mr. Fatokun is here so that we don't venture into the area of anti-competitive discussions. Anything that has to do with restriction of how you sell, how you distribute, by European laws which guide most of us, a lot of us here, will be in the area of anti-competitive discussions. I know maybe Mr. Fatokun can shed some light on this. We have to be very careful. I totally understand the discussion, and I'm bold to say that even at our head offices, where the contracts with most airlines, you never sign the contract with, except your Nigeria Airways. You cannot sign the contract with all the GDSs at your local level. So these contracts are signed at our head office levels, and we cannot even pretend to hold sway over these contracts. So we need to just be a bit cautious that we don't step into that anti-competitive
Mr. President, by the agreement, I think the whole summary and the essence is from Judge's comment. It's just responsible behavior, basically. A responsible behavior. The costs are quite high, and you don't expect the airline to bear the cost, especially when they are so high, and it's just from bad behavior, basically. It's from bad behavior. So the bigger agents, now just an advice, the bigger agents should restrict, like George said, some bigger agents even have sub-agents which they have given access to. Help them to behave nicely. Maybe that will help. Help them to behave nicely. They must make bookings, genuine bookings, ticketed, and so on. We pay the GDS for the inventory they put online for us. But when the behavior becomes a bad behavior and the charges are huge, we just need to pass them on to those who are responsible, because from time to time we come to the agents to tell them what these bad behaviors are that they should stop. Thank you.
Okay, I just want to say something. It's true that the culpability is more with the agents and the GDS. It is true. I mean, the GDS want to make money, so they open the event, they give access to as many avenues as possible. And it's also true that agents do empower their sub-agents, which you also
on that side actively promote. So you promote those engagements. But you see the downside, even though the culpability is more on this side, the downside of those activities is that they make those bookings early, they take away the lower rung of your inventory. By the time they cancel the bookings, people have already made their choices with other options. So the downside also is that you also lose money. So GDS wastage does not account for that sick load factor issues that you deal with. So you can point the finger in one direction, yes, true, but then the truth of the matter is that 4 other fingers are pointing in yours. So I think we should engage constructively. How do we address this menace? Yes, it is true. It is a menace caused mostly by the agents and the GTSs, but it does have untold consequences for your finances. So to that extent, there has to be more of a collaborative approach instead of a finger-pointing approach. That's just my contribution.
Thank you very much. Okay, we just need to, there are some borders we should not cross. Mostly we're talking about distribution, like what you should do or something with regard to how it should be sold or what I'm doing, what others should do. But in general principle, I think NANTA had to tell the agent that someone is paying for all the booking you are making on the GTS. It's not free. So the agent should know that airlines are paying for this. Because some agents don't know that. They think that the GTS just come to them and tell them book, and they don't book. They are playing with computer. Someone is paying for this. I think that message needs to be sound and clear to the agent. Someone, the airline, not even someone, the airlines are paying for everything you book on the system on their behalf. That's number one. Number two is that people just need to be responsible. They just need to be responsible. Because someone is paying does not mean that you just go recklessly and just book anything. Someone with this visa, you book, you make payment, you just make booking, you go and look for visa, you don't even take your time to cancel it, you just leave it there. Reckless use of the system. And someone has to pay. The airline cannot continuously be at the receiving end. And that is why the airline now talk back to them and say, now someone has to do something. Now, as far as I'm concerned, the second also there need to be a public awareness. Okay? Because these people, the fraudulent use of the system has even more cost than to the airline. People don't go and default passengers that these people don't go online and make a booking and just say that you have a ticket. Just give them itinerary. There's no ticket number. There's nothing. And people come to the airport. They have to fly. They already collected their money from them. There's no ticket number, nothing. And think that he has a ticket because he has an itinerary book with their name. So there's not going to have a campaign of it because these people also tarnishes the image of the agents. They think all the agents are fraudulent. That there need to be a campaign in the newspaper. Thirdly, the organization that regulate everything within the Nigerian airspace regarding the NCA. Neither the airline can stand in the position of justice. We are not justice organization. We cannot sit and to make right or wrong. No, that is left for the country and the justice of that country. And the person, the organization that represent all this government is NCA. Now let's say let the NCA call the GDS to order and tell the GDS this is what the request ends for. Like NC, like Nigeria Communication Commission. Then the DSM, it's the same thing. The DSM also distribute the bandwidth, the telecommunication company, they distribute all this as well, just like the DSM are doing. But they are doing internet and voice and internet and doing. But they give them the guideline. Someone come and buy SIM with you must have this. You flaunt it, you are punished. The same thing can be applied to the DSM. Yes. That every person you are giving authority to judge it must have this and must produce it to us. So in case there's any problem, you are liable and you're going to be sanctioned. Once they see that, they will sit up. The DDS will sit up.
Sir, I was just going to add that if you noticed, well, from my own office, majority of the GDS wastage issues will probably come from one particular GDS. It's not even all of them. there are one or two GDS. In fact, there's a main GDS that they are just it's just reckless. And I think they tend to give what do you call it now? They tend to give incentives to most of the sub agents, encouraging them to just book. I have heard that a number of times. Okay, so I think such GDSs actually should, be sat down and spoken to and, addressed. Because when most of the ADMs that come to my office, when we're checking through them, it's particularly a GDS, not one in particular. And I've even had complaints, even from, like colleagues in other airlines saying the same thing. So one particular GDS, one or two of them, but mostly one. So they should be addressed.
Thank you. I think in addition to what you have said, professionalism has to come into place here. I agree with you, GDS will come and say, please do this, please do that. But airlines have, guiding rules. This is what you should do. Then in this case, you have to educate your sub-agents very well. To say, this is not because I know she's right. I know that of the GDS. I say, please don't worry. Even if that ADM comes, you'll be paid. But you've been warned that when that ADM comes, the GDS didn't pay. They will not be there for you. So if that comes, then I think it lies on the agent to now please put professionalism in place to say yes, GDS can do this, they can say whatever they like, but this is the right thing to do. Because the airline that is giving you commission is not giving you commissions to sell, it's also giving you commission to please, educate and put professionalism in place when as well. Thank you.
There are two different things. Somebody being reckless with your inventory is different from somebody being paid to be reckless. They are two different things. So when somebody is being paid to be reckless, it becomes a fraud. So it's not wastage anymore. But we're not perceiving it from that angle. We need to see that GDSs are paying sub-agents to sit at one corner and just do the booking recklessly, knowing fully well that they will come to you to get that money. And when they come to you to get that money, you start to check who is it. Okay, give this one. Okay, give that one. And you're sending ADMs to us. And we're begging and appealing to you. Help us to bring sanity to our market. That's what we're asking of you. We're not saying that you should document it. You're just going to tell the GDSs whether the agreement is signed in your own country. I'm sure you liaise with them locally. You can tell them, look, I'm seeing a lot of fraudulent, we will not pay. And then let us engage in that talk rather than keep quiet. Because keeping quiet is encouraging fraud in our market. And for as long as you encourage fraud in our market, what's going to happen? People like us will continue to suffer. 2,000 members. Can you see the gap? Now, outside NANTA, we have another 6,000 trading that refuse to register with us. If they don't have access to GDS, do you think they will not come and register? At least, please, we need to help this industry. We are dying. And we need you to come to our aid.
So if you ask, what do you want us to do, especially for you? Because most of these negotiations we are talking about are negotiations worldwide. It's not something that is peculiar to Nigeria. And I have personally
reported a GDS to my country, and I said, this is what they are doing, this is what they are doing. And the head office looked at it and everything, and they said, and the GDS went back to defend themselves that it is the agency that are doing it. So do you want me to take all my time in looking at what does not concern me? The GDS says, I'm sorry to use that word. The GDS says, sorry, Mr. Badu, we are just saying all these things, but this thing comes from the agencies and we have guidelines for them. And I went to that agency, and then he said, no, the GDS told our sub-agents to do it. When the ADM comes, they will absorb it. As far as I'm concerned, I don't want to dwell into that. I then pass it to the agency. So you have absorbed it, please pay me the ADM. So if you want to we are ready to help, but in specific, if what we think can do for us, I think, from my own perspective, you guys need to go to the GDS, as Mr. Adokwan said, have a good negotiation with them and let them go professionally in this job. If they don't do it professionally, they are looking for sales and they want you guys to do more booking segments, and they know they are going to charge us per booking segments. But then that is where the battle line is. But we don't mind whether the booking segment is used or not. The airline will charge. For us, we've trained them. We called all agents together and we said, even if you want a quote, you don't need to make reservations. Do it like this, do it like this. But they are not doing so. Please let us know how you want us to help you.
What you are charging for GDS wastage, does it account for the money you have lost with that seat? I mean, what I'm saying is that you're very right about the focus. The big agencies that are requesting for sign-ons for this, either smaller ones or non-IATA ones, should exercise discretion in doing so. You're very right about that. But also, the GDSs have a part to play, and the only ones that can call them to order are the airlines. And the reason why I'm saying that the airlines also have a responsibility in this matter is because you are losing revenue. All you are focused on is cancellation of bookings, and then you slap someone with GDS wastage charge. Does that pay for that seat? Because the question is, if someone is looking for inventory and 300 agencies have already taken one seat from your inventory, your inventory is gone. So all you have is upper limit inventory to sell. So somebody goes to airline B to buy because you are overpriced through no fault of yours. So you have lost revenue. So all you are running after is crumbs. The real meat, you have lost it through no fault of yours. So there is also a part to play. That's my focus. There's also a part to play.
It's not that the airline don't play. Okay, sorry. The airline do play parts. They have an inventory control. Okay, they control their inventory. Like they have some robot that clean the flights. Okay, there are no airline that does not, any major airline that does not do that, where they have their flights and they clean the flight every day. So like fictitious booking, text one, something or repetition or multiple booking, they do that. But when it becomes excessive, when it becomes repetitive for particular agent and it's costing human hours for some people to be sitting down there paying salary to clean the mess of some agent, and some of them can still go through, even with all these robots that you use, some of them still go through. And that's still causing revenue to the airline. Definitely there should be sanction. And the sanction goes back to whoever imputed that into the system, which is the travel agent. So it's not that the airline just sit down there and just expect. No, they do a lot of cleaning of their system. But you cannot continuously do that and something. So, but Mr. Akeki, please, don't use your example in the something, please.
Mr. President, because of time constraint, this morning, I would say the airline is not overlooking this. But guess what? Don't forget that regardless of the fact that we sit on this geographical location in the world, we don't have autonomous power over the total agreement with GDS's. GDS's agreement with airline that I understand is usually at the global level. Now, so you cannot single-handedly sit in Nigeria and say this. Probably what we're being asked to do is call the GDS and say, don't give this person, don't do this. I know people that are switched off because of fictitious booking, and 2 weeks later they have another office ID and they are on the system again. Yes. So it's a man-hour wasting. Dr. Fatikum has given a suggestion that I thought would close the discussion. I didn't know what was still going on. There are regulatory bodies that organizes or manages decorum in a business environment. One of them, like they said, is NCA. If the NCA brings out a publication, after NANTA approaches them, advocate for this to be done, and the publication says an agency that does not have ABCD should not have access to inventory in Nigeria, they will follow it. What they will then say is, if you find out GDS's agents that have access and they don't have ABCD, the GDS will be penalized by this amount. You will see regulation. That will help us to close this discussion. Otherwise, we are wasting our. You see what? Just before I sit down, number 6 will address what you are talking about. Item number 6 on the agenda. Yes. We'll address it. So why are we going on? Apologies.
All right, thank you very much. Jeff, do you still have something to say?
No, actually, it's just saying exactly what I was
What you wanted to say?
He has given us a solution from a local perspective. I think let's follow that. We have regulatory bodies that can deal with that. And I think that will sort out the problem for all of us, other than us saying who's doing this, who's doing it. The other thing is, I've heard from Mike, we also are facing, we face costs. I mean, this thing is a two-way thing. We are also struggling as airlines with this problem, and it costs us so much. So let's not look at it like it's the agents only struggling for me. Even us as airlines, we have costs that we bear because of all these problems, whether it's fraudulent or it's excessive or whatever.
Sorry, just to round up what everybody has just said here. We have to be scientific in our approach. If it was good to NCA to go and complain this issue to them, we want to accuse the non-IATA agents of guilty of this offense. It might not be totally right. We need evidences to prove beyond reasonable doubt that it is the non-IATA agencies that are responsible. So we need to get our statistics right, because if you go to NCAA, we might be embarrassed. We cannot just tell them that non-IATA agencies are the ones that are guilty. You will find out that if you do your statistics very well, you find that some agents are colliding with the GDSs as we are talking about. So we need to be scientific about it. If there is a way we can get a report to allay the fears that the non-IATA agencies are the ones responsible, I think it will do us good. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
And I think the best way to get this information will be from the airlines, because they get all this information all together. I can tell you that on a monthly basis, we get statistics of travel agencies that are involved. We can give you those data to help you
get those data.
Yes, we can give you that data so that way you understand where the problem is, and you will also identify even the IATA agents that are being involved, that are involved in this too, such that way you have something concrete that you can then approach the CAA with, and then you take it up from there.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much for that. Our time is fast spent, but we will try as much as possible to move very, very fast. That we spoke about, I'm sure Mr. Fatokun should be able to help out in leading this particular discussion on the global DIP. Why we have to make this an agenda issue is simply this. 60% of our IATA agents in Nigeria, they are using DIP. Of course, we all understand what DIP is, Default Insurance Program. Come 31st, the DIP will need to be renewed by Leadway. Now, there's been a lot of back and forth between IATA and Leadway concerning defaults which are meant to have been paid and that has not been paid, which is making some airlines to even discriminate between bank guarantee and DIP, which shouldn't be. But systematically, they will make you understand that their preference is bank guarantee. Now we're saying to ourselves that if for any reason the local DIP is not renewed by 31st, we're now left with the option of bank guarantee. It means that the 60% are going to jump out. It's either they go out look for bank guarantee, or they start trading with other travel agencies that have bank guarantee, which will push up those ones trading limits, and those ones will be out of the market as well. So if everyone is out, even if it's only one travel agency is out, all of us will go and buy from that travel agency. Can the travel agency provide bank guarantee of 20 billion or 30 billion? So it becomes a problem for everybody, and I think we need to look at it. So it is in looking at it, we're saying to ourselves that a global DIP will be of essence to quickly bring into our market to help us salvage the situation at hand now. And Mr. Fatoku will be able to enlighten us more on the global DIP for us to have a clearer picture and see how well we quickly run into that for us to move, because it is a problem of IATA, it's a problem of the airline, it's a problem of the travel agency, it's a problem of the association. And we all can't fold our hands and say, oh, let's event take care of itself. Event taking care of itself means that there might be a total collapse. And if a total collapse might affect every one of us. Thank you, Mr. Fatu.
I didn't know I come here too.
That's what happens when you are the umpire.
Now, in the BSP Nigeria, we have, for an agent to trade in the BSP, you must have a financial security. So you cannot just trade without having a financial security. And then we have two types of financial security in the system presently. You have the bank guarantee, and you have the DIP, Default Insurance Program, that is provided like a bond, an insurance bond. And today, the organization providing the insurance bond is Leadway Insurance Company. So, and then we are having some issues on the way it is working. It's not working as it should. And then, but this is not the first market we are having issues like that. We had it in Ghana about 2 years ago, and we closed the DIP program. We closed it because they were not able to pay the claim. Now, the issue that we need to understand, if the agreement between IATA and Leadway stipulates that when the claim is passed to Leadway, for an agent that has a cover, for whether they give us an insurance that this agent is covered to a particular amount, we expect them within 30 days to pay back the airline, to pay us back so that we can pay the airlines. Now, we know the inflation rate in Nigeria presently is in 2-digit figure. We know also the exchange rate, what we are moved to and what it is. Whenever there's a delay in airline receiving their money, is an erosion on the value of that sales, even if it's 1 day. So it is not just that the airline are just difficult, or IATA is unnecessarily difficult, but it's the reality or the value of the sales due to the economic environmental factors that I just mentioned. But what we are finding today is that Leadway is not playing according to the terms and the provisions of the agreement they signed. We are claiming that they are 6 months old. Some are more than that. They are still investigating. They are still doing one reason or the other not to pay. And so that is giving us some concern. At the same time that we don't want to unsettle the market, but we cannot forever wait until everything collapses. For IATA and the airline, they will just say, okay, since one of the options has collapsed, you go to the second one. There's another second one, which is the bank. But I would make to understand that even the bank are getting also tougher and tougher. Yes. And with regard to the conditions of providing the bank guarantee to the agent. So the agent and the labor is not a situation that we like to see. Neither the airline nor IATA nor likes that situation. So, and the problem is not only Nigeria, as I say, we have other people where we have to shut down the DIP program. But that makes us to think of a global DIP. You know, most of these DIP, some of them are very weak. Aviation is capital intensive. In aviation, you don't talk of small money. You talk of really big money. And even with low profit. but big money. So most of these agents don't have the capacity to really go into these programs. 2 or 3 defaults, then they start complaining. So that's why we think of strong DIP programs, strong insurances, like the one that insure aircraft, that insure travel, that are in millions of dollars. Maybe those ones, if they start to play in that market as well, we could have now some level of capitalization that can help take care of this default. And so that's why we are thinking of IATA as licensed some global DIPs that can play globally. But the DIP itself will not come on its own, play in an environment. That's usually what happens. They have to liaise with another DIP, another insurance company to represent them in this market. Like you have NANTA being represented here, you have AXA being represented in Nigeria by another insurance companies. So they play like that and have their own, and they are the backing for it and they back it up. So that's usually what happens. Now, IATA has that as a pillar of the new generation industry settlement system, new gen ISS. One of the pillars of that is a global DIP. We are not cancelling the local one. No, we are just giving more options. If that works in Nigeria, then agents have 3 options. Then we have the bank guarantee, they have the local DIP, and then we have the global DIP. Go anywhere you want, just give us a financial security. We are not trying to discriminate one against the other. We don't encourage it. For us, we don't tell the airline, this agent has to require financial security to trade in this market. That's all. We never tell an airline is DIPO, is a bank guarantee. No. We don't tell them they have fulfilled the requirement to trade. Please trade with them if you at your own desire. So that's what we do. Now, the global DIP being rolled out globally. 2017, they are rolled out in some countries, like South Africa, Morocco for Africa. Those are more easier market economically to roll out because of their economic environment. Nigeria is scheduled for 2019, not 2018. Nigeria is on the wave for 2019 for the DIP to roll out. And so that's what we have in the program. And I know, I don't want to speak for Mr. Banko, they try to push forward that IATA moves the rollout of DIP in Nigeria for Nigeria to come to 2018. That request is on the table. Our colleagues are working on that and we see. But usually that's how it will work, if we are able to do that or something. But generally, that is the general information we have.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Fatoko.
Thank you very much, Dr. Fatoko. I said something earlier before your arrival. Now, if you bring in the DIP, provider, what you're bringing from outside Nigeria, it is obvious, it's certain that, of course, before they give you a certificate or clearance to trade, you must have collateral. There must be a comfort level before they can say, okay, we'll give you the certificate. One, that's one. I said something earlier about capping, okay? It is not allowed, it's not agreed that, I will never agree with you that you should go into capping. Yes, but there is a way to cap this business with the introduction of this credit card. For instance, if an agent has a 1 billion bank guarantee, the moment you get to 80% of that amount, or 90%, or 100%, you're going to pay what I said this earlier. Now, once you pay that, next year, they won't have to call you to come and, because if this goes on and on, it will get to a point, nobody will be able to do bank guarantee in the industry. It will get to a point, even in the DIP, when your business is so big that can even collapse the insurance industry. They will not want to give you any because that is what is going on right now with Leadway. And all banks, I can assure you, if you should stop DIP, no bank will be ready to give their bank guarantee except you are able to collateralize the amount of bank guarantee you want from them 100% or 120%, or whichever applies to the bank. So my question is this, Mr. Dr. Fatokun. If you bring in the DIP, we are just still postponing the evil days. Okay? Because what we have in Nigeria, I can assure you, is enough to trade with, is enough to collateralize the industry, as long as this capping of the thing or pay as you go triggers in. If you have a bank of 100 million and you don't trade above 100 million, if you trade above 100 million, you are called upon by IATA to pay immediately, and you are failure to pay. You know, you get your bank guarantee cash, and you get your money 100%, and the person wouldn't have traded more than the bank guarantee he or she has. So that's my own take, and that's what I really want us to look at that, instead of trying to postpone the evil days. Thank you.
It's more of a general comment than a question. It's more like a general comment and input than a question. And actually, what I see there are elements of truth there, is fact. What you know that IATA does not need to cap you. You can cap yourself. Don't you know how much you sell? Cap yourself now. When you get close to something, stop selling. Simple. Stop selling. Stop issuing tickets. You can cap yourself. So you want to eat your cake and have it. So it's so simple. So you don't need me to cap you. Cap yourself. So what you can see that the new generation will address that to some extent, but usually I think the agent also need to look at their capacity. That's what we call the remittance holding capacity. That's why really you know where your strength, really, how much can I go? So if I get to this, I know I will not get the bank and I will not get this. Let that business, as Yoruba people say, go to go. Let that business go to someone else. Let the other person issue that ticket. And you don't exceed your bank guarantee. So exactly. So, but actually, I think that is it. But we cannot. IATA does not issue resolution. Does not go to resolution for a single country. Resolutions are global in nature and in application. So, if I would like to not to flout the anti-competition law in another country, otherwise the resolution will not be applicable there. And in Europe and America, you cannot cap any industry. It's a free market industry. They just have guidelines, regulations that guide the whole business. So you cannot say all the agents, you can't go beyond this. It constrains growth. A good agent that is able to manage his growth, allow it to grow. But if you know you have to restrain yourself. So we cannot say we have to cap everybody to a particular level, though you can't go. We are working against growth. But you have to appreciate that people can grow and give opportunity for agents to grow. Those who have still capacity to grow. So that's why IATA will not cap you directly. It will never happen. Because by the law, it will not happen. So, but their system that is there, designed from 2018 with the RHC that I explained the day before yesterday at the APJC meeting, which I'm not going to repeat it again here. Please attend the APJC meeting. So I've done all these things so that people can see what we will be going forward for 2018. So there's an indirect capping there, but we have to have a regular 812 to take care of that so that we don't flout any country's law. But it's an indirect capping there, but that is more scientific and gives opportunity for growth at the same time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Foster.
Do I have the floor, sir?
Yes.
Good morning, everyone. Sorry, Mr. Fatokun, I want to, sorry, everybody's taking up on one or two things, but I just want to clear a few things. Going by resolution 818G, which is the big book that you gave us to read, there are about 7 different financial security that we can use. But in this market, we're only using 2 at the moment, and then we're introducing just 1. Can we not introduce the whole 7, and then agencies are now left with the options of either having this or that, or the other one, instead of being restricted to 3?
Presently, we have 2. Okay, either global DIP or DIP state DIP. That's the one. Then the bank guarantee. The choice of the different financial security is not IATA. It is the local market that determines, through the local financial criteria, which out of all these are applicable to your market, will be right, will be efficient, and then you select them and tell us how you want it done. If you remember here, we say 10 million for entry into the market. We say GDS, you get 32 million or 5 for them to enter. That was our own decision, local decision, that involved the airline and the travel agent. We sat down around the table and we decided that. We also came to a time we decided we want additional DRP providers. And that's our obliged. So we didn't get, but it was our decision. Now, when you take resolution 81AG, we have a listing of all the financial requirements that you need to have and the different type of financial security. It's up to you. You have FAG. Let the FAG go and investigate each one of the other options. Which one will work in this market? Which one will not work? If this will help, then you and airline, agent and airline, come and sit down together and tell us that you want to introduce it to your market. We have no problem with that. IATA as an organization, as long as we have listed them, fine, go ahead. But it's up to you to know. If you say, for example, letter of credit with a bank that is not able to give you, BG will give you letter of credit. Are you an importer or an exporter? They will ask you. But if you want to, we have no problem. Just go and investigate. Will it work here? It will work. Fine. Let's say that we go to back off and we get the approval. That's fine. We don't have a problem with that.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Fatoku. Yes, that will be the last comment so that we can just treat.
Good morning, everyone.
Finish up. Yeah.
I just have to add one or two things here because I've been hearing anti-competition. But my observation has been that when it comes to agency being at the receiving end, the anti-competition doesn't work. And on this matter of local financial security, the VP just said that we can open up several other criteria for you to be able to trade with IATA. And I'm taking it upon the NANTA president and also IATA representative here that why can't IATA list it in Nigerian local security criteria and make it open for you to choose within all these what's it called, the criteria, rather than when it comes to Nigeria, it is being restricted to 2, 3. And when the time comes for us to now request for expansion, you just said we should meet with the airline and agree and present it forward for it to be accepted. Why can't it be open generally and we can pick whichever we want among the 7 criteria being listed there?
It has always been open. It is there. It is this airline and these agents that sat down together and said we want 2. We want bank guarantee and we want DIP. That was the decision of the market. It's not the other decision, and I repeat, everything is there. They sat down together, that's what they want. First of all, it was even money bank guarantee. Later they sat down together, they added the DIP. So and it's fine when we find a modality to implement it for the market. So it has always been open. Now, there is no special something for Nigeria. The options are economic or financial regulations options. They are there for everybody, any market in the world. It's up to you to choose whichever one you want and that will work. You know, it's 2 parties, the airline and the agent. They have to agree that this is what we want for our market. So it's not being biased against agent or biased against airline. You have to know also that the money that is at stake is the airline money. That's the money that is airline money that is at stake. They are the one that take the drugs. It's not the agent only. The airline take the drugs because it is their money that is at stake. You are a partner to help them get that money. Fine, that is acknowledged. But who at the long run takes the major block is the airline because it's their money. So that's why we need their input. But those 2 partners to sit down together around the table and look at what will be conducive for this market that will protect the interests of the agent and protect also the interests of the principal whose money is at stake. So that's why we always sit down together. We don't just campaign. I agree with whatever you agree. As long as it's in line with the resolution, whatever you agree, that's fine with us. We just agree the agreement. That's how it is.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Fatoku. I think we've exhausted our time on that. Time I didn't even believe we'd still be here at this time. But I think we just have to take this very last one and close for the day. Every other thing we can move it to our industry working group and continue to deliberate on each and every one of what we want to get solved for our industry. We're moving to item number 7, which is the availability of inventory. I'm sure that this is something that is not new to any of us. We have seen instances where airlines will close their inventory. Today you can issue Tosoto, tomorrow you cannot issue Toto. Today this class of travel is available, the next day the class of travel is not available. There's stuff going on here and there of tickets being so expensive in Nigeria compared to everywhere. Sorry? So, capital flights as well. And we felt it's something we all need to discuss. And right now that our principals are here, we equally understand that the ROE has gone to a high level that will not endanger your business in any way anymore. The difference between the ROE and the parallel markets is just the commission. That's the way I always put it now. So it's more like we're selling tickets at the parallel market. So if we're selling tickets at the parallel market, we honestly shouldn't have a problem still complaining about inability to repatriate our funds or selling and getting lower value at the end of the day. So if all that has been taken care of, why do we still have limited inventories being showcased in our market? So we need to talk about it. We need to know why we cannot open from the lowest class of inventory to the highest class of inventory. I hope, Mr. Patom, I hope we can talk with him now.
No, you cannot. You cannot. So you can take the one-on-one with each of the airlines. Let NANTA as a delegation meet each of the airlines one-on-one, but you cannot.
We cannot. Okay, well, that has been shut down by the umpire to that it's not within our scope of discussion. So we will engage each airline on this particular one. Okay, now we are on AOB. I don't know if there's any other thing we want to discuss here so that we can close for the day. AOB, please. AOB. Sorry? Item 6. Oh, the NDC. You want us to talk about the NDC? Yeah, the NDC is what has been proposed to, I don't know how to put it, to ease. When I saw it in Amman, the first thing that came to mind is that they still want us to be in business. Because that was how I feel when, after the presentation. Because, as it were, the GDS will need to change their game. If they don't, then the NDC will probably take them out. And maybe Mr. Patoku can still help us in that. It is actually, the NDC is new distribution capability, which helps the airline to distribute their inventory in a cheaper and easier manner. And this has been tested in some markets in Europe and America. And in those markets, they have aggregators. Those aggregators work exactly like GDSs. And I'm sure that the cost of the aggregators, they are far, far cheaper than the cost of the GDS. So those markets are really embracing NDC than the GDS. So the GDS that are willing to quickly conform to become an aggregator and quickly ensure that they don't lose market are adjusting. Those that are not, they are losing out of such markets. I'm sure Dr. Fatoko can enlighten us better on this particular one. I know that IATA has a product called one order or something like that. Maybe you could enlighten us and we'll just round up this meeting. Thank you.
I think what the airline, the industry is trying to do is just to make the distribution and the access to the inventory more open to the passenger, to the traveler. Now, today, for example, if you want to book, you are pricing an airline and you want to, maybe if they sell food on board, for example. Now, you cannot price that with the tickets. You can just price the seat. Then later you have to find a way of buying the something or those who sell first class seat, front seat, or different amenities. If you want to decline, you can buy this. Or they say they also have a car service, and thing or something, where welcome all this. All this now you can't sell them with the tickets. You don't. But now with the NDC, you'll be able to price all these things together, one shot. So we try actually to capture the distribution back. Because for a long time, the distribution has been in the hand of the GDSs. So this try to really appraise who owns the distribution. So the airline want to get straight to the end user to say that this is all that you can do all this transaction with just one booking. But the system that we have now cannot do it. So that's why most of the airlines are to just go to the XML standard, so that all this can show in them and you can price everything now. You can select all this in one shot and get it. Now that does not close the agency business. The agent also can come in. Then we have also access to the same. This is the standard. So rather than the standard being like this before, we just open the standard up and then just make it accessible for everybody. So the inventory is open, is larger. We can do all this one shot, all these services that before what you do with DJs is only pricing of the seat. That's all you can do. But we have to add other services to that, all other services, so that you can be able to sell everything at the go with the airline on the same airline ticket. Now, the airline ticket that you have today is just the airline ticket that shows only the seat. It's in the itinerary, that other things I can find that. But now the new ticket or the new order, you can just one and add everything, even fly without tickets. So all these things are the new technologies that are just growing up and that we're also taking advantage of as a subset of the economy as a whole. But that does not threaten your business. We take care into the agency. The DJs also have their own part to play in it. But just that now you have more to sell. That is what I can say. You have more to sell immediately through one month. So you just go. So you have advantage for the agents, also for the GTS, for the airline, and everybody. And at the long run, it's the consumer that gets everything now easy access to it. So it's not for you not to. You cannot lose your sleep for that.
Okay. So thank you. Thank you very much. Does that mean that the NDC will now be for only IATA agents or just anybody?
Today, what we find today, anybody can book tickets. Just go on the internet. You can even go directly to Amadeus and book as a person without even being an agent. At time when I want to look for some flight, I don't go to the Amadeus website. You put everything there, they give you the information. You can get the information. The display is always there. Anybody can get the display. It's an issue the ticket now that where the restriction comes in. So you still have to go through a channel that is recognized by the airline for you to be able to book the ticket. So you can get the display information. Anybody can get it. But how do you get the ticket? That's where you become anybody. So that's it.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Fatuku. And thank you for everyone that has spoken here today. I think we've spent reasonable time trying to address issues affecting us as an industry. Thank you for your time, most especially those that had to do a long drive from the mainland to the island for us to have this breakfast meeting. One thing I can assure you is that this is going to be a continuous exercise. The whole idea is to bridge the communication gap between we, the participants in the industry, and our principals that have done so well. In all that we have done today, we'd just like to re-emphasize some of it. The credit card payment scheme which we spoke about, we are going to ensure that we go back to the industry working group to continue the discussion, while we work with IATA as well to have a clear picture of both sides of the credit card. The additional provider, which is the global DIP that we're proposing, we will engage IATA on it to see how it's been done in South Africa, Morocco, and see who those providers are, so that NANTA can quickly engage them and see how we can jumpstart it in 2018. Even though we've spoken with IATA in Madrid that they should try and bring it forward so that this can kickstart, because Nigeria market is very vital to IATA as